Hello and welcome to Talking Sense, a Pittsburgh Works Together interview series featuring our region's most influential leaders. We'll get their perspectives on jobs, the economy, and other topics vital to Pittsburgh's progress. I'm Kelly Brennan, and on today's episode, I speak with special guest Anthony Joseph from Local 9 of the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers. Anthony is Local 9's training and apprentice coordinator. He gives insights into typical pathways within the industry, the unique benefits his union offers, and how his team prepares apprentices for rewarding, family-sustaining careers. We hope you enjoy this insightful and informative discussion. Anthony, thank you for joining us today. I have a list of questions that I would love to fire at you and kind of do a Q&A with your background and everything that is involved in the apprenticeship program. So if you wouldn't mind, give me a little background on you and how you landed in this current role.
All right. Kelly, first of all, thanks for having me.
Of course.
My journey is a little bit, I would say, unique.
Okay.
It's not so far-fetched for someone else to have the same pathway, but in life, nothing's a straight line.
Yeah.
Right? We live and learn, we zig and zag. So I'll go back to when I was in high school. Everybody in my family, from my dad to my older siblings, is educated, went on to higher education, college. So obviously I'm sitting there at age 18 and I'm like, I have to go to college. So I picked accounting as my major, did a 4-year, experience in college, have an accounting degree. I graduated from college, really didn't love the accounting,
Sitting
lifestyle.
in an office.
No. So started working with my hands again. I'd always had an interest working with my hands. I did all kinds of projects around the house.
Yeah.
I was the handyman when I was a teen. So never thought about the unions, didn't know a lot about the unions. We'll flash forward 5-6 years. It was actually my brother-in-law who also, ironically enough, went to school for accounting, but he and his whole family were in the union.
Okay.
So he started in the union from the time he was 16. So my brother-in-law had asked me at the age of 28 if I wanted to join the union and come work for him because he was buying his uncle's company,
okay,
which was a union company. So that is how I got into the union. So kind of a little bit of luck,
yeah,
right? But once you get in, you make your own luck. And that's where we'll talk later about apprenticeship programs and training and how do you go from a 29-year-old that never did a piece of tile or brick to becoming an apprentice coordinator.
Yeah.
So my journey has a lot of things, but that is how I got into the union, and that was actually the beginning of my journey. And then all the other things that the unions have to offer is kind of what I've taken advantage along my journey to use. So.
And I think a lot of people listening, thank you for sharing your personal journey, because I do think a lot of listeners will relate to that, where they're either unhappy or they think going to college is just what you do.
Right.
But that's not for everybody, right? And we need strong, skilled workers in this world. So your current role and title is what?
I am now the apprentice and training coordinator for the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers Local 9 PA.
So how about some of the training opportunities and apprenticeships, that you offer with your current role? What are those?
So this is where you start to say, when we were talking about people that want to make career changes, or you realize, hey, this isn't for me, right? The first thing is you don't have to ever have experience as a construction worker. What we tell young people, or anybody for that matter, that has an interest in working with their hands, we have what they call an apprenticeship program. It's a 4-year program for most of the unions.
Okay.
That is where we're going to train you. So a young 29-year-old like myself, who's never touched a piece of tile, because that was my trade, I was a tile setter, not a bricklayer, can join the union and in 20 years go from never having any experience to the apprentice coordinator. So it all starts with the apprenticeship program, and that's where you learn your skills. So we call it earn as you learn. You come in, you will work for a contractor, signatory contractor, and you make your rate. Apprentice rates right now for Local 9 are anywhere from starting rates $23 to $29.
Okay.
And then what you do is you come to our training center. This is my job. I set your training up. You do with the equivalent of 18 days a year, 144 hours, and that's your training part at the classroom, and you do that for 4 years. And then every year in your apprenticeship that you do your work hours and your training hours, you'll get a raise.
Okay.
So for instance, a first year bricklayer makes $29 an hour, second year makes $31, A third year might make 33, a fourth year makes 37, and then when you become a journey worker right now, they're making $41 an hour.
Okay.
So as you learn, you earn more.
Yes.
Your value grows. So that is where it all starts. So anyone, as long as you meet the requirements of the apprenticeship program and get into the apprenticeship program, which, you know, most people will meet those requirements, and we can go through those a little bit later.
Is there an opportunity if someone's interested, but they just want to connect and see that, yes, this is the right path? Can they come in just for like an initial meet and greet almost?
Yeah, so what we do, or at least what I do is, so we do different trainings during different times of the year. So we're getting ready right now. We're coming up on our fall semester, which is going to start at the end of August. So right now I put together a list of people, if they're interested, or send me applications. I ask them to actually come into the training center and sit in with the apprentices.
Okay.
So say if you called me and you're like, hey, I'm really interested in Local 9, but I'm not sure what I want to do. And I would say, you know what, Kelly, here's what I want you to do. I want you to come to the training center, be here at 7. And that's my first thing I want to see. Did you show up on time, right? But I'm going to say, wear some work clothes. And what I'm going to say is, I'm going to meet you, but I'm going to want you to jump around all the trades. So you can jump into the tile class. You can jump into the terrazzo class. You can jump in with the stonemasons, with the bricklayers, or with the restorations. You can see the differences in the skill sets, the tools, the physical nature of it, right? Are you afraid of heights? Would you rather work indoor? There's all different kinds of different things with each trade that an individual may or may not like.
And the physical demand, like we had discussed before we even got on camera, that's a lot on the body.
It is. So that is a really good way to come in, right, and see. And actually what I also tell everyone that comes in, if they want to come in, talk to the apprentices. And I say, ask them what they don't like. I don't say what they do like. What don't they like about their job? Because let's be honest, I loved my job, but there were things about my job before I became the apprentice coordinator that I also didn't like. And I think that's going to be part of anyone's career path. You're going to have things about your job you love, things about your job you hate. So I tell them, talk to the other kids that are your age or adults that are your age and ask them, hey, what do you like? What don't you like? What's the neatest thing? What's the hardest thing, right? And so that is one way we do it. And then also at certain times of the year, I run what they call pre-job training during the week. Same opportunity to come in, put your hands on it, get used to it, see if it's for you. So we do offer those opportunities for people to come in and kind of try it out.
Okay. Sitting here just really as a female, I'm curious, what's your ratio of men to women? Do you have a lot of women that come through for the program?
So for the bricklayers in Local 9, I think a lot of women are probably intimidating that it might be too physical in nature.
Okay.
But you would be pleasantly surprised to know. I believe my female count is up to 15.
Okay.
But I personally have roughly 12 in my apprentice program. So I've had a huge uptick in female interest in the bricklayers and the Allied Craftworkers. So honestly, we in the construction world tell anybody, we don't care who's doing what. If you can do it, you can do it, and we want you.
So then is this something more women should consider?
I'm going to put it like this. I think more women, along with anybody, should consider the trades. Because the one stat that I learned a few weeks ago was, remember how I said I went to college?
Yes.
The union construction trades are the highest paying career paths that you can have without a college degree.
Oh, wow.
They're ranked #1.
Yeah, that's a powerful statistic. You mentioned that income. What about benefits? Could you describe what those benefits would be?
So when I tell you you're making $40 an hour, I tell everyone I'm really lying to you because you're actually making $65 an hour. So a lot of people like the benefits word, we call it the B word, right? Nobody really cares a lot. Older people do. But in Local 9, you have healthcare benefits. So for every hour that we work, we have X amount of money that goes in our healthcare, and then I pick my plan. So I have Highmark, and I have access to UPMC through my Highmark plan.
Okay.
So I have different levels of enrollment that I can pick from. So I have my healthcare. But what I tell everyone too is we have the other words that people, you know, pensions, annuities, right?
Yep.
We're working and we get paid in 2 ways. You get paid today, that $40 an hour, which is amazing, in your paycheck. But we were talking earlier about retirement plans and things like that. What's amazing about the union is I have what they call my pension and my annuity. So for every hour I work, I have contributions that go in, my name, from my employer, into my pension. Most union bricklayers, if you've got 30 years in, you're going to see a $3,000 to $4,000 a month pension check. Wow. And then we have currently, say, $7 an hour going into your annuities. And that money goes into the stock market. And we have financial advisors that pick funds for us in portfolios, and we invest our money. So most of our members, I know right now I'm on track in my annuity to have over $1 million when I retire. So I usually ask young people, do you think you can be a millionaire if you work construction? And they all raise their hand, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to be one. So
Planning
that's
for the
why.
future. Absolutely.
Yep.
Is there anything I'm not asking that you feel is important for people to hear who are considering going into the program, already in it?
So the one thing I would tell people, obviously specifically about the bricklayers, is a lot of people, and we talked a little bit about before, right? Bricklayers Local 9 are the bricklayers. So obviously everyone can identify with a brick wall.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is we also have the tile trade. That is Bricklayers Local 9, and that's the Allied Craftworkers. We also have the stonemasons. We have the restoration work. And what people don't understand is all these beautiful old masonry buildings in the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County, those are union contractors and those are union workers that go in there and make them look beautiful. Again, the old churches, all these sky rises downtown. Those are Local 9. We call it PCC, but actually I call it restoration. So those are our trades.
I so appreciate your perspective, and you're full of so much information, and I feel like you really help people understand what to expect. So now if they're listening and they say, I got to find out more, or I got to contact him, how can they do that? Where do people go for more information?
So you can find Local 9 in various ways. We have a website, local9pa.com.
Okay.
We have an apprentice portal on there. So there's actually an application on the website. You can fill it out.
Okay.
If you send that application in, I will be the one calling you.
Okay.
That's my job. We do have some social media platforms. We're on Facebook and things like that. But the other way is you can call the office, 412-825-0923. You can speak with our member services manager, and she can direct you towards speaking with me or doing an application. But honestly, the website and calling are the easiest two ways to do it.
Okay.
We're expanding our footprint on the internet, and those things will change over time. But those are two surefire ways that are never going to change. And the easiest way, obviously, to get a call back and get more information about joining Local 9.
Okay, beautiful. Well, all of this asked and answered. Anthony, thank you so much for your time
Kelly.
and your
I appreciate
perspective.
you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening, and we are so looking forward to another episode, so please stay tuned.